Welcome Farm Bag subscribers. I'd just like to take a minute to tell you how much fun we have creating these weekly farm bags for you. Being able to go to these farms and hand pick these beautiful vegetables is a true pleasure. We hope you enjoyed as well. And we look forward to those Facebook posts, so keep them coming. Okay, our first recipe today is going to be braised local cabbage. Now I know you had this in your bag last week. We have it in the bag this week again because this is actually the last locally cut cabbage of the season. And I'm going to show you a recipe that's quick and simple but packs a lot of flavor. Okay, what you want to do is you want to take your bacon, which I've done here. I got 4 slices of bacon that I diced and I browned it in some olive oil. Okay, you want to add 1 sliced onion. Get that in there. Give it a good stir. You're going to go back on the heat, medium-high heat. You're going to want to cook that about 2 to 3 minutes to get those onions a little tender. While that's cooking, I'm going to show you how to cut the cabbage. Just cut the cabbage in half. Then we're going to quarter it. And we're just going to take the core out. That in there. Like so. Core out. Alright, then we're going to take a few leaves at a time. And we're just going to slice it thin. The great thing about this recipe is that you slow cook it, and it gives all the flavors we're going to add to it a chance to get all the way through, and it's going to be nice and tender. Alright, doesn't have to be perfect, just give it a quick slice. Give your onions a stir. Okay, they have a couple minutes. Alright, once your onions have cooked 2 to 3 minutes, you're going to add 1 tablespoon of fennel seed. Kosher salt, black pepper, a bit more. Then you're going to add your cabbage. Cabbage in. Give it a nice mix. Get the onions and the bacon, cabbage all mixed through. Alright, so you get that in the bowl mixed. We're going to add 3 cups chicken stock. In she goes. Going to add 3 tablespoons brown mustard. 1, 2, 3. We're going to add about a 1/4 cup of cider vinegar. Good. Give that a good stir. And we're going to put this back on the heat at medium, and we're going to cover it and let it simmer for 30 to 40 minutes. Okay everybody, our cabbage has been cooking about 35 minutes. Just going to take it over here, take off the lid. Alright, when it's nice and tender, what you want to do is check it for seasoning. So I'm just going to give a little taste of the broth. Does it need more pepper? Does it need more salt? To me, it needs a little more salt and a little more pepper. Mix that in. Amazing. Okay, to plate, to serve this cabbage, you want to go right into a bowl. That lovely cabbage with the bacon. Alright. So now's the time when you can add any of your favorite garnishes that you might like to put on top. To give you an example of a garnish, one of my favorites, which I just realized a couple days ago when I made this recipe, there was some local pepper jelly in the fridge. I added a little bit on top, mixed it in, and fell in love with the flavor and the contrast to the cabbage and the bacon. So all I do is take about a spoonful of this local pepper jelly right on top. Just gonna mix that in a little bit. Give that a taste. Careful now, it's really hot. I love pepper jelly, but this is amazing. You have to try it. So I recommend pepper jelly for the cabbage. Okay, for the next recipe, we're going to do a southern slow-cooked collard green. And we're going to actually start cooking the garnish first, which is going to be diced bacon, which I browned and crisped up in a pot, which I have right here. That's actually going to be the garnish that's going to be sprinkled on the collard greens after they finish cooking. So, to the pot that I cooked the bacon in, it rendered out all its fat. So I want to keep that flavor in there. So what I'm going to do is just take my half onion sliced, add it to the pot that the bacon was cooked in. And I'm going to put that on medium-high heat for about 5 minutes until the onions get nice and translucent. Okay, now while you have the onions cooking, I want to show you real quick how to prepare the collard greens. What you want to do is just pull off the stalk, the leaf from the stalk. Discard the bottom part, it's real tough, you don't want to use that. It's pretty much basically the whole leaf. Just go ahead and cut that in half. Then cut it in half again. And you're just going to cut it in rectangles. Rough chop. Okay, I'm going to add this to what I have already over here. I got about a pound of collard greens, rinsed and chopped, ready to go. Okay, so I'm going to grab my onions. They've been cooking about 5 minutes now. To that, you want to add a pinch of red pepper flakes, crushed red pepper. Give it a stir. Then you want to go in with your collard greens. Press it down, get it in there, nice and mixed. I tell you, the smell of the onions cooking in that bacon fat with the when the red pepper flakes hits it, the aroma is really amazing. All right, so we got your collard greens in. We're going to season it to taste with salt, some black pepper. I'm going to take a cup of chicken stock, quarter cup of our cider vinegar, and we're going to do a couple dashes of your favorite hot sauce. Okay, we're going to put this on medium-high heat, and we're going to let this steam and simmer for about 30 to 45 minutes. Okay, everybody. everybody. Our collard greens have been on the fire for about 35 minutes, ready to go. So I'm going to show you how to plate this. Going to take the lid off. Just like the cabbage recipe, you're going to want to taste it. Make sure your seasoning is good. I'm going to add a little more salt and a little more pepper. Mix that seasoning in. Alright, now to serve this, make sure you mix it up real good to get all those onions mixed in with the collards into a bowl. Look at that, beautiful. Beautiful. Look at those beautiful onions in there, collards. All this is locally picked the day before your bag arrives. Alright, so you got your collard greens in there. Now you want to use the garnish, which we cooked earlier, which is that bacon that we cooked beforehand. What you want to do is just take some bacon, sprinkle over the top. And we're going to give this a taste. Let me get a fork. That is Southern cooking, alright. Some onions and bacon. Gotta do one more. The vinegar, the hot sauce, the chili flakes, and the sweetness of the onions come into that collard green, and the texture of that bacon, that crunchy texture. You have to try this recipe. I hope you enjoy them. I look forward to your comments, posts on Facebook, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.